picking Guerrero's ankle, but with his boot now loosened, he rolled out of the hold, upon which his boot went flying off with Kurt, and then it was Eddie who capitalized by rolling Angle up for the win.
At WrestleMania 2, you'll never go above like the master of the cheating and stealing.
Oh, what's up? Oh, what's up?
What up, it's Maj, back in another video. Today we're about to be reacting to a video by WrestleMania. The video is going to be on 10 wrestlers who lied about an injury. First one that's just gonna come to mind in recent history is Seth Rollins lying about that injury. Honestly, it's kind of really believable because, like, you know, Seth Rollins gets injured a lot, bro. I know wrestlers get injured a lot, but Seth Rollins have just bit the injury bug so many times, bro. It kind of just, it was joked upon, I think, last Raw when Roman and Seth was facing off on the mic, and it really kind of shown that he was like injured a lot throughout the years. Every time he became WWE champion, something kind of happened. He only had like one good lengthy run. I mean, he only had a few good lengthy runs, but then I gotta see what else kind of jogs my mind in this compilation. But let's just get into it. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe on the wrestling videos. I'll be releasing these every day or every other day, but let's get it.
Number 10, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan has told more lies than the entire global population has had hot dinners, but he almost...
Oh, yeah, bro. Yeah, I think Alexa Bliss gonna have to be on here too.
Deserves to be commended for his ability to spew out the most outrageous BS. It should really go without saying that, no, Hulk Hogan didn't wrestle 400 days in a single year. He wasn't approached to play bass for Metallica, and he didn't beat up Antonio Inoki so badly that it caused him to be hunted down by the Yakuza. Hogan also didn't sustain a neck injury while wrestling The Undertaker. He was booked to lose the WWF Championship to a still fresh dead man at 1991 Survivor Series, with a finish to be a tombstone piledriver on a steel chair. That did happen, but Hogan's head was actually nowhere near the metal. He was legitimately a good few inches off the ground when Taker connected with the move. Nonetheless, Hogan persisted, which could have been a career ender for the Phenom. The Undertaker recalled the incident while speaking to Peter Rosenberg, expressing both the fear of losing his job and his anger at Hogan for having lied. I go backstage and I'm like, where is Hulk at? Oh, he's laying on Vince's office floor. I go in to check on him, and here come the paramedics. So I go behind a wall with Shane McMahon. I listen to him, check him out.
Bro, if you know and hear the more stories about like Hulk Hogan's personality, bro, you wouldn't be surprised at all this shit, bro. Like, you wouldn't be surprised about him lying about some sort of fucking injury to probably like not get the championship taken off of him, or, you know, not like he could have put like Undertaker's like whole like thing at jeopardy. Because this was a fresh ass Undertaker, like they just said, bro. Yeah, any fresh ass wrestler, especially back in the day, bro, they were just brutal on like fresh ass wrestlers. If you come into the business injuring the veteran, bro, you are gonna get fucking fucked up.
And I hear, somebody get my wife and kids on the phone. I don't know what the hell is going on, other than the fact that I heard the golden goose. Shane tells me, Mark, his head wasn't close to touching the mat. I'm like, no, I heard him. We didn't have access back then to watch things back like we do now, so I didn't see it until this Tuesday in Texas. A lot of the boys came up to me and were like, his head never got close to the mat. If you watch it back, you can tell his head never touched. I got to San Antonio and was like, Terry, I watched it back and your head never hit. Oh brother, what it was, you had me so tight that when I came down, I had nowhere to move, and that's what jammed my neck. I couldn't move at all. At that point, I was like, okay. Then I knew what he was all about. Number 9, Randy Orton. Having wrestled a decent match together earlier that year at WrestleMania 35, a now babyface Randy Orton and now heel AJ Styles rekindled their feud at the end of 2019, though it was totally bizarre in execution. There was no reason why Orton and Styles was suddenly at loggerheads again, and there was no real conclusion. They wrestled once on Raw, but the feud ended during WWE's house show loop in January 2020. Before they parted ways, Randy made sure to show off his old tricks. During the December 30th, 2019 episode of Raw, Orton waddled to the ring on crutches, having apparently sustained a knee injury during a live event the night before. ET, stepping away from the ring, was subsequently confronted by AJ Styles and dropped him with an RKO, revealing the whole charade to have been just that. Unlike other examples that we'll get into, there was no expectation that this was a kayfabe injury. Various media outlets reported on Randy's supposed ailment, while WWE's own...
Yo, hey, this was an excellent ass thing because like they let it slip out because, like, you know, a lot of shit likes to go to the dirt sheets, a lot of shit likes to, you know, get leaked. So like they probably just let it slip out. Oh yeah, Randy Orton might be injured, and then you promote him on TV with some sort of injury, and then you go full force when it comes to Raw and make him come out on a on some fucking crutches. That literally seals the deal on the whole little thing, bro. I fucked with this angle.
One website even ran a story that claimed the Viper was undergoing a medical evaluation. It's little details like this which allow fans to be wholly immersed in the product during an era in which peeling back the curtain is as much part of the product as locking up at the start of a match. Number 8. Batista. A decade before he was tormenting AJ Styles with stories of a bad knee, it was Randy Orton's turn to be plagued with tales of a faux injury by Batista. The difference here is that Batista actually was injured, or at least he was the last time we'd seen him. The Animal had defeated Orton for the WWE Championship at Extreme Rules in June of 2009, but he was forced to vacate the title the following day after taking quite the lashing from Legacy. In reality, he'd torn his triceps and required surgery.
Oof.
Fast forward 3 months and Batista had resurfaced at long last. He appeared on an episode of Raw with his arm still trapped in a protective vice that looked more like something out of the Terminator, leading Randy to believe that he had retired his former stablemate. Cue the removal of the vice, cue Batista clearing Randy from the ring, and cue Orton taking a hammering in a no-holds-barred match later that night. Batista, you see, wasn't actually retiring, he was just moving back to SmackDown, where he would take out all his frustrations on an unsuspecting Rey Mysterio.
Still the most craziest thing to this day, bro. I was so surprised. I was a little kid. I was like, why is he beating up Rey Mysterio? Bro, I was like, yo, this was like a believable heel turn. You presented these two as best friends, and then he do some crazy shit like this by taking his head off and just destroying Rey Mysterio, bro. Rey Mysterio didn't deserve this, bro.
Poor Rey. Number 7. Eddie Guerrero. Although it's difficult to watch today, knowing what was to happen 3 years later, WrestleMania 20 ending with Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit holding the WWE and World Heavyweight Championships aloft is still one of the most poignant endings to a WWE pay-per-view. Benoit won the big gold belt from Triple H in a triple threat main event, but Eddie was actually the defending champion that night as he saw an attempt at thwarting his reign from Kurt Angle in a well-received match with a well-received finish. Having been trapped in the ankle lock, Eddie undid the laces on his boot to remove pressure, signifying that something had gone astray with the submission. That obviously resulted in Angle trying to capitalize by returning to picking Guerrero's ankle, but with his boot now loosened, he rolled out of the hold, upon which his boot went flying off with Kurt. And then it was Eddie who capitalized by rolling Angle up for the win. The level of psychology that went into this finish was outstanding, and even took Kurt Angle by surprise when Eddie laid out his idea. Speaking on his podcast, the Olympic gold medalist.
Hey, bro, at WrestleMania 2, you'll never go above like the master of the damn the cheating and stealing, bro, because this is like top tier ass, like, you know, not mind shit, but top tier ass thinking and top tier ass plans for shows that'll hype the damn crowd up, especially at WrestleMania.
Described it as perfect.
We were on tour the week before. I believe we were in Asia. I believe in Japan. And Eddie stops me. We were going to the hotel, and I was entering my hotel room, and Eddie runs up to me because he was down the hall in a different hotel room. He runs up to me. He says, "Hey, Kurt, I just came up with the finish for our WrestleMania match." I was like, well, when Eddie has an idea, it's usually pretty damn good. And when he told me what he wanted to do, I was like, holy shit, man, that's vintage Eddie Guerrero. Lie, cheat, and steal. I said, Eddie, you couldn't came up with a better finish. I mean, him untying his boot, and then I had the ankle lock on it, and it slips off, and then Eddie rolling me up real quick. What a great finish. It doesn't get any better than that, especially when you're talking about characters. Me being a heel, Eddie being a babyface, him lying, cheating, and stealing his way to victory, that what Eddie always does. It was perfect. Couldn't be any better.
Number 6, Dominic Mysterio. There was never a need for a custody ladder match at 2005 SummerSlam because Dominic Mysterio has consistently proven himself to be absolutely not the offspring of Eddie Guerrero. Such as whenever he tries to lie, cheat, and steal his way to the top, it just backfires. Let's just look at 2025 Survivor Series. In San Diego, Dirty Dom was booked against John Cena for the Intercontinental Championship. He ultimately regained the title through Liv Morgan's initiated shenanigans, but earlier in the match, Dominic tried some antics of his own. He feigned a neck injury after taking a nasty landing on the crown of his head at ringside, which opened the door for Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez to interfere on his behalf. When the dirty work was done, Mysterio was suddenly rearing to go, hitting Cena with both a 619 and a frog splash, though the referee refused to count the fall. Regrettably, Dominic's action soon caught up with him, as just weeks after faking it, he sustained a legitimate shoulder injury during a AAA event that caused him to miss the Royal Rumble. At least he saved his money on a return flight to Riyadh, I guess.
Hey, bro, I like that they do a reverse because obviously there's a lot of comparisons they do, you know, to him for Eddie Guerrero, and like it's like a whole ass reverse. Since he's a heel, he's not gonna get away with the damn lying and cheating, probably in different ways, but like he's not gonna get away with it like Eddie.
Number 5, John Cena. Following John Cena finally turning heel at the 2025 Elimination Chamber, fans were quick to compile a list of moments where Cena acted like a bigger heel than his opponents, such as when he dropped dog excrement on Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee on New Year's Eve, or when he let a string of steel chairs fall upon Wade Barrett for literally no reason. This moment, however, was not discussed at large, despite it being one of Cena's heroically worst. The face that runs the place returned to WWE programming after a 2-month injury layoff to relieve Alberto Del Rio of his World Heavyweight Championship at Hell in a Cell 2013, with the rematch booked for Survivor Series. As part of the go-home to that match, Cena appeared on the November 18th Raw with his arm wrapped up in a sling, having been beaten down by Del Rio on the previous week's SmackDown. Instead of actually being injured though, so-called Ultimate Babyface John Cena used the sling as a ruse, as he used Alberto's own words against him when he uttered the line that all great babyface champions are known for saying, "A real champion does take advantage of every opportunity." He then proceeded to attack Del Rio. Classic babyface behavior. Number 4, Shawn Michaels.
Honestly, yeah, it was a lot of shit like Cena was doing around this time is just not like babyface material, bro. Like he gave the example of him dropping all those chairs on Wade Barrett. I know Wade Barrett was a shitty person, but like you're supposed to be the natural babyface. You're supposed to play the hero. Who does all of that to a person?
So there were 2 accusations against Shawn Michaels of faking an injury, the second of which was part of a storyline. Ahead of his acclaimed 2008 program with Chris Jericho, Michaels defeated Batista at Backlash following Sweet Chin Music, which came after the Heartbreak Kid had worked the animal into believing that he had tweaked his knee after escaping a Batista bomb attempt. But the original accusation, however, well, that was unfortunately 90s Shawn Michaels being, well, 90s Shawn Michaels. HBK had a reputation throughout the decade for being difficult to work with, especially if your name was Bret the Hitman Hart. Shawn had defeated Bret for the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 12, with the plan believed to have been for the duo to wrestle 3 high-profile matches, the second which would have been at WrestleMania 13 and would have seen Michaels give Hart his win back. Instead, Shawn showed up to the February 13th, 1997 episode of Raw, dropped his infamous "Lost My Smile" promo, and vacated the title, citing a serious knee injury that would prevent him from facing Bret. Hart summed it up best when he recalled Shawn's behavior while writing in his autobiography. On February 13th in Lowell, Massachusetts, the big news was that Shawn was forfeiting the world belt because he had suddenly somehow sustained a career-ending knee injury and needed surgery. Take a look. Looked at me and like, this was all bullshit, and said, "I believe it when I see the scar. The little effort doesn't want to drop the belt." Shawn Michaels.
Wow, hey, that made more sense for around this time, especially. That made more sense because how Shawn Michaels was moving, bro. I mean, I thought it was gonna be like a story of like, you know, a storyline injury, but like it was a real time of him like faking the whole ass injury, bro. And you know, Vince around this time will literally have no like type of no type of like mind for it because he saw Shawn Michaels as one of the biggest things in the company.
Returned to competition 3 months later, having not had the surgery his career supposedly depended on. Number 3, Daniel Bryan. Between February 2016 and March 2018, Daniel Bryan sat in medical retirement, having been forced to hang up his Fury boots after suffering repeated concussions, but also because he had lied to WWE about his medical history. The multi-time WWE champion revealed shortly after his first retirement that he had sustained 10 documented concussions throughout his career, but it wasn't until almost 2 years later that Bryan admitted to also have suffered seizures that he kept secret from WWE officials. Speaking with Peter Rosenberg, Bryan spoke of the distrust that grew between him and his doctors. "I had post-concussion seizures, and I had hidden that, and WWE is not wrong for this, forcing him to retire. This is one of the bad things that I've done myself, is that I hid things."
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, just to know about this, I did not know about this. I thought they just like, you know, made him retire out of nowhere, but just to hear about this actually being his fault is actually surprising. So yeah, this is why he had to, you know, retire. I'm glad he did because these situations are like really taken serious, and like it goes back to, you know, him kind of using that diving headbutt also, which I think is really a stupid move because it really hurts wrestlers. But like, I did not know this information. It's some new ball knowledge
from the doctors. So if your doctors can't trust you, if you start hiding things because you're afraid of what will happen to you, that is not good for you in the long run, and that breeds this situation of distrust between you and the doctor. I didn't tell WWE until my last concussion, which was 2015, and I hadn't had a seizure since 2012, but I never told him that I ever had a seizure. Although he returned to the ring for a 3-year run in WWE, Daniel Bryan reverted to his real name of Bryan Danielson upon joining AEW in 2021, before the final curtain was drawn in his career in 2024. Number 2, Alexa Bliss. We as wrestling fans have witnessed some disturbing visuals throughout our fandom, ranging from Seth Rollins throwing up on pay-per-view after extracting Rey Mysterio's eye from his head, to anytime Vince McMahon dropped his kegs for a Kiss My Ass Club initiation. On a less gross level, however,
I really fucking hated that time of when he used to make people kiss his ass, bro.
since Alexa Bliss's ability to mangle her own arm. Growing up as a gymnast, Alexa has spoken previously about living with hypermobility, noting how useful her double-jointedness had been as a pro wrestler. The condition allows her to contort her arm in unimaginable, grotesque angles to trick her opponent, the referee, and the audience into believing it's broken before she bounces back to normal. She used a mind-bending trick against Sasha Banks at the stupidly named Great Balls of Fire event in 2017.
Yo,
but most notable was when she sold
nasty,
Becky
bro.
Lynch's Disarmer as a legitimate arm breaker during a 2016 episode of SmackDown. It made the move look so much more deadly than it actually is. And number 1, Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw this, I was actually pretty fooled, bro. I thought she was like actually injured around this time. I was like, what the hell happened? And she bust out like that. That actually fooled me.
Much like Dominic Mysterio, Seth Rollins faking an injury in the summer 2025 came back to bite him hard, as it was legitimately hurt just 2 months after revealing his ruse. Rollins' fictitious ailment took shape when he faced LA Knight during a Saturday night's main event show. Missing a springboard attack, Seth landed awkwardly and appeared to have tweaked his knee, leading LA to hit a BFT to wrap the match up. He was confined to crutches and remained absent from company programming, despite having just become Mr. Money in the Bank before he revealed his grand plan at SummerSlam. He sauntered out after CM Punk won the World Heavyweight title, turned to walk away, and emphatically dropped his crutches, orchestrating another iconic Money in the Bank cash-in. But the issue is Seth's tall tale.
That was a fucking crazy ass fucking cash in, bro. CM Punk just won the damn title, bro, and he gets that shit ripped away.
Is that very people were kept in the loop, causing many within the locker room to be legitimately pissed off about the lie. Luckily for LA Knight, he was told, but it almost wasn't, as Triple H elaborated on during Season 2 of WWE Unreal on Netflix. One of the few people that I couldn't in good conscience let think that this was real was LA Knight, but Seth came to me and said, "Why does LA Knight need to know? I don't feel like he needs to know." I said, "Seth, if the roles were reversed on this and I didn't tell you, you would be out of your mind pissed at me. You're a professional in the ring, and your first thought is make sure your opponent doesn't get hurt and all these things. And he gets hurt on your watch, and then you find out later that it was all bullshit, you'd be out of your mind mad that I didn't clue you in on that." He paused for a few seconds, looked at me and was like, "Fair enough." And he never brought it up again, right? He has to know. But there you have it, folks. 10 wrestlers.
That's dead ass true right there, bro. Because literally, you wouldn't feel the same about like somebody like, you know, you wouldn't feel the same because like somebody actually injuring you and then you up here in your mind thinking like, oh my god, it's my fault. It's my fault that he's, you know, taking some time off. Like you wouldn't want somebody to be thinking with that damn mindset, bro. So I'm low-key glad he, you know, gained an understanding for that, and that was a great move by Triple H to making him understand. Yeah, like I said, some of these injuries on this list actually were funny and actually were kind of real, and well, real for the storyline basically, and some people were faking the whole fucking thing. And the real one that kind of like really fucking fooled me, like back in 2016 when that Becky versus what's the name, what was going on, bro, it actually kind of, because her hypermobility whatever kind of really just fooled the whole my whole thing, bro. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, is she actually injured? Her arm was just like contorted and bended kind of nasty, bro. Bro, I meant Alexa Bliss, sorry. But bro, geez, tell me what was you guys' favorite moment, or mention something that wasn't on this list. But don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Go watch the original video in the description. I'll catch you guys in the next video. We are on the road to 850.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?